so let's start and make some sourdough bread. We are going to use the Unloaf recipe because I am lazy and I don't have time for stretch and folds, and honestly I just don't want to do that either. So we're going to use the recipe that's called the Unloaf recipe. You can find it anywhere online. I'm going to start with my handy dandy scale. I'm actually going to put the bowl on it first, then I'm going to mix all my bread in, and this is actually where I'm going to let my bread rise too. So I did use the 4-quart bowl so that I can mix and let it rise all in one place. Again, I'm lazy, I don't want to have to wash a lot of dishes. So I'm going to zero it out so that way it takes that measuring a little bit easier. So first thing that I need is 165 grams of flat starter. I was growing my starter overnight. As you can see, it went all the way up to here, which is a little risky, and then it is back flat, okay? So my line was down here, so we're almost all the way flattened back out, which is good for this recipe. I will give it a little stir with my rubber spatula, just to make sure it's even. I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but I do. And then I measure 165 grams, so we're just gonna go for it. One thing about sourdough is way more forgiving than you expect. My plan is actually to also make sandwich bread. So the rest of this is gonna be for sandwich bread. I already have my maintenance starter already in the fridge being saved, so I don't have to worry about remembering to save some of this. So always make sure to set aside your starter, maintenance sized, so that you don't accidentally use it all and then have nothing more to grow and maintain. So I'm gonna set this back to the side. Next thing I need is 400 grams of water. So I'm gonna zero out this with everything here. That's fine because I'm just gonna add my water. It is just tap water, room temperature. I can drink tap water here at my house, so that's what I use. So I'm gonna 400 grams. I can't see it now. Okay, 400 on the dot, perfect. Next thing I need is 650 grams of bread flour. Hold on, I got all-purpose out. Would kind of work, bread flour is just gonna be better for this. Nice and handy. Okay, so I'm going to 650 grams of bread flour. Woo. So again, I'm gonna zero this out. Got just a little bit left. And I lost my spatula in there. And then 15 grams of salt. Okay, again, zero out. And I'm gonna add 15 grams. I will say, I normally go over on the salt. Happy accident typically, but yeah, I'm at 17 grams. Okay. This is a lot, and it's not necessarily the easiest to stir. You can kind of start with this. This is actually really messy, so I'm not loving that on my fingers, but you just start stirring it up. It gets to be what they refer to as shaggy, and that's when I know that I need to go in with my hands and kind of squish everything together. So I do have a dough whisk. It is 100% not necessary to use, but I will say it is stronger than the rubber spatula things. So I do like to use my dough whisk when it gets to about this consistency. Typically I actually start with it, but so you can kind of see it is that shaggy where it feels almost too dry. It's not, because you're going to keep stirring it and keep squishing it all together. So this is where it gets a little bit, it's really, really hard. Think about flour and water is also paper mache. So think about how hard that is to stir. So it does have that shaggy consistency. That's what we're wanting. I'm wanting to make sure that all the flour ends up incorporated into the dough. Even having a few extra grams of flour, it's still gonna get all incorporated. So it's really, really shaggy right now. It looks like it's almost dry. It's not, it'll be okay. At this point, I'm going to put on my food glove, and you don't want any sourdough starter to go down your drains if you can avoid it. So you always want to do a good wipe down of any of the bowls, any of the spatulas, anything like that. So that way you don't have paper mache in your pipes. So now at this point, I am really kind of going to go in. Whoops. I do it kind of this like scoop and fold, if you will. So that way it all kind of gets incorporated. And as you can see, the shagginess, as I'm kind of getting it all squished, it's starting to go away a little bit, which is what we want. We want the dough to be really well incorporated. We want all the flour to get in there. And that's what the starter needs so that it can grow and poof up and rise, so that when we bake it, it's got nice air bubbles inside and it's really soft and it tastes really good. So you can see that that shagginess is starting to go away as I'm doing some squishing. Some people love this part, can't stand it. But it's worth it in the end for delicious homemade bread. And sourdough is one of the better breads that you can have for your gut health and everything like that, which, of course, as we get older, we realize how important it is. So again, I'm just going back in, getting it all squished together. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see that the shagginess is pretty much gone, right? That doesn't look dry anymore. I didn't add any water, I didn't add any starter, I just got that dough better incorporated. So you can incorporate it however you want. This kind of scooping and pushing in just works the best for me. I'm decently weak, so there's the reason behind that. These gloves are also not perfect. I probably would prefer the tighter food gloves, but this is what I have right now. So making it work. So as you can see, it's all pretty well incorporated at this point. You can also kind of see how it bounces back a little bit. That's the gluten from the starter, so that's a really good sign that it's nice and active. And then at this point, I cover it and let it sit. So I'm gonna pull out my plastic wrap that I forgot to grab. I'm gonna cover the bowl. It's nice and tight. And this is gonna hang out on my counter for about 12 hours typically, but the weather is warming up today and I have my windows open, so it's probably not gonna be the full 12 hours. So at probably the 8 to 10 mark is where I'm gonna guess that it's probably gonna be nice and risen. And then at that point, I will shape it, let it cold ferment potentially till the morning, and then bake it in the morning. I might bake it tonight. I don't really know yet. It really just kind of depends on what time it kind of reaches that nice peak of being fully risen. So there you go. That's your unloaf recipe. That's all you have to do. No kneading, no nothing.